We hear in the readings, brothers and sisters, God's goodness and graciousness. That is, we hear that God does not forget his people, that he wants to make a way for them, that he can't forsake us the same way as a mother can't forsake the child of her womb. And even should a mother forget, the Lord will not forget us. And we hear Jesus in the gospel talking about his desire to give life to everyone who will receive what he is giving. We see an example of this mercy in the life of St. Patrick, who, as he reflects on his own life, says that it was because of his sins that he was taken captive by pirates and then taken from where he grew up on the island of Great Britain to Ireland. And it was there that he was put to work in the sheep folds, tending the sheep. And we hear in his own life that as he reflected upon this unfortunate circumstance in his life, he not only began to see his wasted youth, but he also began to pray and to call upon God. And as we heard in the first reading from the book of the prophet Isaiah, we hear that the Lord makes a way in the mountains, and he makes the highways level. And that's exactly what he did with St. Patrick, whom God called at one point to leave the sheep in the field and to set out for the coast, simply only following the direction that God was indicating to him in prayer. And when he reached the coast, there happened to be a ship there, and he was taken to safe passage. And we know that St. Patrick then eventually felt a call to come back to the people of Ireland, to teach them the way of the gospel. This we can see is again the work of the mercy of God, who softened St. Patrick's heart to not hold a grudge against his Irish captors, but instead was moved with compassion to preach to them the way of life of the gospel. And so we ask the Lord today, most especially, to be with us to make our pathways smooth, but also to work in us the same compassion that he gave to St. Patrick, a compassion that wishes to give life to others, not to deprive it of them, a compassion that wishes to preach the good news, not just by word, but also by deed. Deeds not only of charity, but deeds also of the miracles that God has promised that those who believe in him would do. We see in the life of St. Patrick that he worked many miracles during his life, and we recognize that those miracles would not be necessarily cause for his canonization, that they would be simply the Holy Spirit working through whomever Holy Spirit wants to work through, and then only through perseverance of love and patience and growth in charity would he eventually be named a saint. So we ask the Lord today also for the graces that we need in order to manifest the love of the Trinity, not only to our family members and our friends, but also to all people, including those who we might consider to be enemies.